Now, going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have a Bud Light survey claiming that they won 15% of the boycotting drinkers. Yeah, I don't think so. Now, this will be a good exercise in terms of let's break down the survey and see why logic will prevail. Now, this looks like this is from I believe it's from New York Times or New York Post in terms of the reference where the study was originally posted. Now, it looks like the proportion of Bud Light drinkers who say they're unlikely to buy the brand the next 3 months fell from 18% to 3%. This, according to a study by Deutsche Bank. I bet they make the Legos too. I digress. The proportion of Bud Light drinkers who say that they are unlikely to buy the brand in the next 3 to 6 months fell from 18% to 3%. I had to reread that because it sounds so crazy. It just sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Because they haven't done anything to address the issue. They've put out content, but it had nothing to do with the main issues to begin with. Now, they go on to say the proportion of former Bud Light drinkers who say they're... They say now just 19% of beer drinkers said that they wouldn't buy Bud Light, down from 21%. So that's a little improvement. And I don't know if this is because they're just lazy to not buy another drink, but when I looked into this, the survey was the sample size, and again, people are trying to use this as a reference point, saying like, oh yeah, the boycott is over. You know, because the conservatives blew it. We told you this one was going to make an effect long term. It's ridiculous. Who do you think you could do? Who do you think you are? Well, that survey was 600 people. Now, I tried to drill more down into the data. Of course, depending on which surveys you're reading, they're either more or less open with the data in terms of, age demographics, location demographic, or location areas. Well, geographical is a fancy way of saying that. But that is such a small sample size. I just, after you get under 1,000, I become very skeptical about any survey. And it just sounds ridiculous. And in terms of stock, which is another good parameter for when you're evaluating public confidence in companies, they've lost about $40 billion in stock value since April 1st, which is when they had the whole controversy of hiring Dylan Mulvaney to be their brand ambassador, which, hilariously enough, Bud Light said it was just one can, and they said it wasn't. However, in a TikTok or a Twitter or whatever the youth use these days of social media, Dylan claimed that it was a campaign. Now, who do you believe? Well, their track record for both of them telling the truth is great, but given Dylan's past with successful campaigns with other brands, I believe it's $1 million from a makeup company. I think it was logic from business sense. They probably would have offered Dylan a contract or an actual campaign, not just send a gift, which I don't believe that for a second. It was just a gift. You wanted publicity from the influencer. That's right. This whole person's life is taking pictures of themselves. They're so egotistical. You sell them a product for the pictures, for the promos. Don't lie about it. But I partially digress. Let me know in the comments, do you believe this survey? Do you think that fell from the 18% to 3%? There's no way that's true. So my 3 cents is I don't believe that survey at all. And guess what? The sales figures support my theory. And again, when we're looking at all these polls, make sure you always look into the data. Probably one of the few things I learned of value in business, or when I went to college for a business degree, is a business for statistics professor who always told us, remember your sample size. You gotta know not just the size, but who is it, the age, know the data. Because you can there's very many ways you can manipulate a survey to get the outcome you want. And yes, especially in politics, and they do it on the left and the right. But I partially digress. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. We're trying to get again to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August, so you can click that button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, take the time to like and comment. That greatly helps out the channel. The feedback is also invaluable, whether it's giving your evidence or your experiences behind the topics we cover, or just critical feedback on how I can make the show better. It's always appreciated. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.